Musco from Torcast. So my question is, right now, the pace of combat in PvP is very, I don't want to say it's slow, but it's not three-shot killing.
Yeah.
How's that going to scale when you get higher into the end game? As people are doing more damage, are people going to die faster, or is the pace going to stay how it is now?
I don't like the pace going too fast. I don't want to go too fast, like, people one-shotting, two-shotting each other. Burst having its place sort of towards the end when you see health pools getting low and you want to use your cooldowns, etc., to burst at that point, I think is the right fun way to go. Kind of sort of a strategic, a thinking PvP type situation with some twitch to it as well. Is it going to change? No, we want to try to hit that same beat all the way across. Is it going to change from what it is right now? Yeah, I mean, we're going to tune it a bit, certainly. But principally, that's what we're going for. Is to not, it's not FPS, one-shot, two-shot type things.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Hello, Yulathar from Old Rap Gamona. My question is, how difficult is balancing all the classes and advanced classes, and also in terms of PvE and PvP, like balancing all those things?
I mean, it's easy. It's easy. It's just magic. We just snap our fingers and it all comes together. No, Georg and I, we sit next to each other, so we talk hand in hand, and there's, compromises made between PvP and PvE. But at the end of the day, things when you have mechanics like guard, and you've got things like bolster, stuff like that, we have the instruments to tune the difference between the two. Again, I mentioned it. Maybe, no, I didn't mention it in the presentation, but we're committed to ensure that, everyone has a role in PvP, but there's going to be at least one spec in every advanced class that's going to be that sort of 2% competitive edge in PvP. We're committed to do that. More, hopefully, but we'll be monitoring to make sure that everyone has that there's not going to be an advanced class that's like, hey, I got no PvP place. They will. That's what we're committed to keep hammering at.
Thank you.
Dover from Darth Hater. We just did get a chance to play a whole lot, and a lot of what Musco was asking was the health took a long time to take someone down, and I noticed that the scoreboard at the end had a lot of heavy emphasis towards high points on the Force users, because they're in there and they're able to take a lot of hits, whereas the Imperial Agents and the Smugglers may have had a little bit harder time with the cover and whatnot. We totally take advantage of some points, but we were kind of useless on other points because portable cover kept getting knocked out. The two discordant play styles, is that going to be, managing those, is that covering all the maps? You guys are making sure that all the maps have cover spots for everything?
So I mentioned it when one of the groups was playing. We were in between, in this build, we were in between sort of cover techs. So there's not as much environmental cover as intended. So there'll definitely be more environmental cover. And the portable cover, of course, that's handy wherever you're at. There's also a spec, like Entrenched, you can spec to make it that you're totally immune to stuns while in cover, which of course has a huge place in PvP. But again, we're going to keep testing and iterating. You brought up the health pool question again, and the TTKs, basically the times to kill. It's a little bit on the heavy end. We're going to tune it, we're going to dial it back a bit, but we're not going to dial it back again so much to where it's the one-shot, two-shot type thing.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi Gabe, how you doing? I'm Tom from Tour Talk. I was just wondering, is PvP going to be more based upon gear than skill, or is it going to be vice versa, or is there going to be a good balance with both?
So the matchmaking system we have is really dynamic in that it tries to match, pre-mades against pre-mades, and number of healers against number of healers, those kind of things. It does a bunch of different magic, tries to bring them together to be an equal match, and then it does a bolster. And it brings everyone to at least 80%. Our goal is to bring everyone to at least 80% effectiveness of one another. So gear, level spectrum, and gear is going to make up that other 20% difference. So then gear basically is about the 10% difference. So we do want to carrot PvP players to earn that gear and get an edge, but it's not going to be like a 50% difference. So skill is going to have a big part and a bigger part. It's not going to be like, hey, I've got my full set of PvP gear, you have your full set of PvE gear, bam, one shot, get out of PvP. No, it's not going to be that, but it is going to be, if you go toe to toe, equal skill, everything remaining equal, you're going to have the 10% edge. So skill is going to play a bigger part than I think most people are used to seeing.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy from Corellian Run Radio. I was really intrigued by your focus on trying to build the community, the social or community aspects of the PvP. Do you find that people are remembering to do that? Are they trying to go for those more go for those group objectives, we get those badges, or help each other out, or are they just, do they get that part, or is it more about, I'm going to kill as many people as I can?
Well, I think when people first get in there, they just look at the sort of visual cues, and, it's like, oh, bad guy, red. I see red. Red is dead, I think that's initially what's going to happen. And, of course, okay, I see guns are shooting at the ship I just came out of. That's probably bad. I got to get over there. But as people get acclimated and they see, their kind of goals, their gear, and what they're getting their rewards for, I think at that point they're going to go into the right behaviors. And hopefully we put those badge carrots in the right spot to encourage everyone to play as a good PvP community. Because that's what that tool does. It's sensational. You got the print and it says so and so's unstoppable. Kathy's unstoppable. Print it and everyone sees it. Yeah. She's unstoppable. and so, the sort of recognition is there, but I think it gives us an instrument to tune to say, hey, this is the right behavior. This is the right behavior to have a fun experience for everyone.
Can you list a couple of those types of goals?
Badges?
Again?
Sure.
Yeah, the social or community PvP things. I can't remember.
Sure. So we mentioned guard and the defense tracking. So when you're in an organized group, when you're with your buddies, you'll guard, the healer because, hey, the healer, right? And then you'll end up being better as a group because you're working together. But as long as we carrot that and we give rewards for doing that, then people will end up doing that also in pickup groups and in just in randoms. And so then it'll be, it'll give sort of a better situation within the community there. And then additionally, of course, there's the typical ones like anyone who's participated in defending objective, attacking an objective, or taking over an objective. Not just the person who clicked it, but everyone sort of around it when it's captured, that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
A few months after launch, you're going to have some guys who are in the PvP zones who are really well established, and in other MMO PvPs, the noobs get out there and they just get buttered. They are absolutely, they don't stand a chance. Do you guys have any mechanics in place to maybe help them along or keep them from just being fodder?
Yeah, so the mechanics is the bolts are bringing in 80%, so those people typically also have, like in, as you say, other MMOs, better gear, so they're like 1- and 2-shotting people, so that's one element. And the next element is that the matchmaking system tries to put pre-mades against pre-mades, because that's another element that I think with people who know their solid sort of game plan in there is usually coordinated and communicating, and it's a pre-made. So we try to match those against each other. But of course, as time goes on, then it alleviates some of those things and it'll match like half pre-made against half pre-made and half solos, those kind of things. So I think those two mechanics are going to go a long way with that. And then, again, the badges will be carroting people to do the right behaviors. And so I think as a whole, the community will behave, they'll play better as a whole because they're going to be getting rewarded for playing better. As opposed to like, kill 1,000 people. I'll just keep killing 1,000, ignore all the objectives, and we lose. Avoiding that type of behavior.
Thank you.
Is we saw 8, and it was pretty busy in that war zone. Do you guys have plans to make them larger? Are there smaller ones?
It's a possibility, but right now, Void Star's 8v8. The ones, what we've announced, 8v8. But it's possible.
Okay. Thanks, man.
So we saw the balance buffing that was bringing everyone, like you've been mentioning, up to 80%. These war zones, from what you had mentioned while we were playing, they're not level locked. So groups are dynamically matched to fit. What if a pre-made comes in and we're rolling like 750s and their buddy who's a 20 wants to go along with them? Is that a pre-made situation that can happen in war zones with the balancing?
It certainly is. If that's what you want to do, then you'll be sort of weighted as a pre-made group and be thrown against another pre-made.
Okay. And so that means that maybe even duos could run together at discordant levels and then be averaged out.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So if your buddy's, if your buddy's off in the quest and he's level 30 and you're level 10 or whatever, it's like you still can play together, every time there's a pop.
Very cool.
So community, PvP community. That's where we're hoping to get going.
Because you guys have the commendation system or commending where you commend another player.
Yeah.
This is a 2-part question. First one being, are you going to have any implementation, like when I was playing, the thought of going into like the score screen or clicking on another player and saying, you're doing awesome, never occurred. I was too busy playing. How are you going to deal with that? Because I don't know how any normal player would have a time to actually do that.
So Okay.
And secondarily,
Yeah.
how are you going to balance that with like pre-mades where we're all like, all right, we want this guy to get Valor, let's just all command him so we can Valor buff him.
Yeah. So the first part of the question is, if you've noticed when the scoreboard pops, there's a countdown before you're able to exit the war zone.
Nice.
So there's, I think it's like 30 seconds or 20 seconds or something like that. Plenty of time to look at it and see who you want to commend. And then the second part of that question is, it's zero sum. Like if everyone's deciding to commend their buddy and it's like, and we have the pre-made, 4 people and it's half pre-mades, half not, it's zero sum at that point.
Right.
We don't, and currently in this Warzone build, we don't have the sort of 8 people queuing and everyone going there. But even if we did something like that, it's still zero sum.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
In other MMOs, sometimes people can turtle. There's a number of behaviors that can go on. It creates a situation on the war zone in which the game can go on forever, and I can never get my points. 40 minutes later, you're still playing. What are you guys doing about that?
So we definitely consider that with each of the war zones that we do. And if you've noticed in Alderaan, once a turret's firing, it's firing. That ship's going to go down. If it's firing at your ship will eventually go down. Their ship will eventually go down. It doesn't stop firing. So it is an effective timer. There is no turtling. Because if you turtle and you have this turret, it's like you're doing damage, so that it's going to an endpoint.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much to Gabe.
Thank you.